The Freemasons, a centuries-old fraternal organization shrouded in mystery and intrigue, have long been associated with the founding of the United States. As a society that values Enlightenment ideals, secrecy, and fraternity, the Freemasons attracted many prominent figures of the 18th century, including several founding fathers of America. This connection has given rise to theories that the United States was not only influenced by Masonic principles, but was actively shaped by them during its formative years. To fully explore this idea, one must delve into the origins of Freemasonry, its guiding principles, and its relationships with key founding fathers, as well as examine the architectural symbolism and political philosophies woven into the foundation of the United States. Freemasonry traces its roots back to the medieval stonemason guilds of Europe, evolving into a more speculative form in the 17th and 18th centuries. By this time, it had become a philosophical society emphasizing morality, reason, and self-improvement, alongside a strong belief in liberty, equality, and fraternity. Its members were united by rituals, symbols, and shared ideals, which often transcended social and political divides. The Freemasons developed a hierarchical structure with degrees, such as entered apprentice, fellow craft, and master mason, which were attained through a combination of learning and moral development. Central to Masonic philosophy is the belief in a supreme being, referred to as the great architect of the universe, emphasizing the pursuit of truth, personal responsibility, and the improvement of society. Freemasonry also adopted a unique symbolic language, with tools of the stonemason's trade, such as the compass, square, and level, imbued with moral and spiritual significance. These symbols emphasized building a better self, and, by extension, a better society. Freemasonry made its way to the American colonies in the early 18th century, gaining popularity among intellectuals, merchants, and political leaders. Lodges provided a space for men of varying social standings to engage in discussions on philosophy, science, and governance. The fraternity's principles of liberty and equality resonated deeply with the Enlightenment ideals that were sweeping through Europe and the colonies at the time. The first officially chartered Masonic lodge in America, St. John's Lodge, was established in Boston in 1733 under the auspices of the Grand Lodge of England. From there, Freemasonry spread rapidly, establishing lodges in major colonial cities. These lodges became centers of intellectual exchange and social networking, fostering relationships among individuals who would later play pivotal roles in the American Revolution and the founding of the nation. Several founding fathers were either confirmed Freemasons or closely associated with the fraternity, including George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Paul Revere, and John Hancock. Their involvement in Freemasonry has led to speculation about the influence of Masonic principles on the founding of the United States. George Washington, the nation's first president, was a prominent Freemason. He joined the fraternity in 1752 at the age of 20 and remained an active member throughout his life. Washington often attended lodge meetings and emphasized the importance of Masonic values in his leadership. At his inauguration in 1789, he took the presidential oath on a Masonic Bible, further cementing the link between the fraternity and the new government. Benjamin Franklin, another key figure, was not only a Freemason, but also a Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania. Franklin's writings and speeches frequently echoed Masonic principles, particularly those advocating for enlightenment, self-improvement, and civic responsibility. His diplomatic efforts in Europe, especially in France, were supported by Masonic connections, showcasing the fraternity's international influence. Other notable figures, such as Paul Revere, a Grand Master in Massachusetts, and John Hancock, a member of St. Andrew's Lodge in Boston, contributed significantly to the revolutionary cause while actively participating in Freemasonry. Their Masonic affiliations provided a network for collaboration and mutual support, aiding the American fight for independence. The influence of Freemasonry is perhaps most visible in the symbols and architecture of the early United States. The Great Seal of the United States, designed in 1782, is often cited as an example of Masonic influence. The unfinished pyramid and the all-seeing eye on the seal, commonly associated with Masonic imagery, symbolize strength, enlightenment, and the pursuit of perfection. The phrase "annuit coeptis," meaning "He, God, has favored our undertakings," reflects the Masonic emphasis on divine guidance and purpose. The layout of Washington, D.C. also bears traces of Masonic design. Pierre-Charles L'Enfant, the city's planner, was not a Mason himself, but many of his advisors and collaborators were. The city's grid pattern, prominent use of triangles, and the alignment of key landmarks have led to interpretations of Masonic symbolism embedded in the nation's capital. The cornerstone of the U.S. Capitol building was laid in a Masonic ceremony led by George Washington, further emphasizing the fraternity's connection to the new government. The Masonic dedication to education and intellectual growth is reflected in the establishment of institutions such as public libraries, universities, and scientific societies. These efforts aligned with the Enlightenment-driven goals of the Founding Fathers, many of whom were deeply committed to advancing knowledge and reason as pillars of a democratic society. The Declaration of Independence, penned by Thomas Jefferson, encapsulates ideals that align closely with Masonic philosophy, though Jefferson himself was not a Freemason. The principles of liberty, equality, and the pursuit of happiness echo the fraternity's emphasis on personal freedom and moral responsibility. While it is impossible to prove a direct Masonic influence on the Declaration, the shared intellectual and cultural environment of the time suggests a convergence of ideas. The Constitution of the United States also reflects Masonic values, particularly in its focus on checks and balances, individual rights, and the rule of law. The idea of creating a government based on reason and mutual consent resonates with the fraternity's emphasis on rationality and fraternity among equals. Despite these apparent connections, critics argue that Freemasonry's influence on the founding of America has been exaggerated. Many founding fathers, including John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, and James Madison, were not Freemasons, yet they played crucial roles in shaping the nation's democratic ideals. Additionally, the principles of liberty and equality that underpinned the American Revolution were part of a broader Enlightenment movement, not unique to Freemasonry. Some historians also caution against conflating the actions of individual Masons with the intentions of the fraternity as a whole. Freemasonry is not a monolithic organization, and its members have often pursued diverse and sometimes contradictory goals. While Freemasonry provided a network for collaboration, its role in the founding of America should not overshadow the contributions of other movements and ideologies. The relationship between Freemasonry and the founding of America continues to capture the public imagination, inspiring books, documentaries, and conspiracy theories. The fraternity's emphasis on secrecy and symbolism has fueled speculation about its role in shaping the nation, often leading to exaggerated claims of hidden agendas and occult influences. In reality, Freemasonry's legacy lies not in covert manipulation, but in its alignment with the intellectual and cultural currents of the time. The fraternity provided a framework for moral and philosophical exploration, fostering a spirit of collaboration among its members. Its principles of self-improvement, civic responsibility, and enlightenment remain relevant today, serving as a reminder of the ideals that guided the nation's founders. The question of whether the Freemasons built America is both intriguing and complex. While it is clear that Freemasonry played a significant role in the lives of many founding fathers, its influence on the nation's founding must be viewed within the broader context of Enlightenment thought, revolutionary ideals, and the diverse contributions of individuals and movements. The symbols, values, and connections associated with Freemasonry have left an indelible mark on American history, reflecting the fraternity's enduring appeal as a source of inspiration and mystery. By examining the interplay between Masonic principles and the founding of America, we gain a deeper understanding of the forces that shaped a nation and continue to influence its identity.